Yun, good morning everyone. Good morning Ian. Marinig ba ako Ian?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so ready na? Excited? Okay, hintayin muna natin yung mga classmates mo kasi nasa 24, 25 pa lang tayo. Sana yung mga... Sino yung kasama mo Ian?
Si Zamora, sir. Zamora pati Valdez.
Okay. Yan. Sabi ni Goddess, pamain po kay Ayan. Daghana, how to be you po, Ian? Bakit ang dami mong admirer? Paano pa yan?
Si Goddess
Bakit
na
dami mong admirer, Ian? Ano bang secret mo dyan? May question dito, Chelsea. Ano ang secret mo sa hair, Ian? Ayun. Ano daw secret ng hair? Bakit ang shine, no? Let's focus the hair of Ian kung ano yung yun.
Takwa ko eh.
Yun pala. Hello mga classmates, no? Hello class. Good morning everyone. Okay, gusto ko malaman kung present ba tayong lahat dito. Pakisulat naman diyan. Pakisulat naman sa ating comment section #electrochemistry. Okay, paki-comment naman sa ating comment section #electrochemistry. Yan. Sige, yun. Kung si Lenny May hinahabol ng mga admirer, ito naman si Ayan hinahabol ng mga fans. Ano bang secret mo, Ayan? I-share mo naman dyan. Okay? I-share mo naman sa ating mga classmates kung ano ba yung secret mo. Bakit ka hinahabol? Oh, nadaw ka, wala pa dahil binawa na ko. Okay, so patamsak naman dyan, no? Pa-like sa ating video. Okay, para napoy like daw ko, no? Sige. Ikaw ang mag-present, Ian. Ikaw ang mag-present.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Sige. Lenny, nakoy question, Lenny. Taga-asa man to yung mga admirer, Lenny. Taga-asa na siya. Student paghihapon na, Lenny. Student.
Sir, kinsi... wala man, sir.
Ingon nila, engineering daw.
Ay,
Oo.
taga Johnson, sir.
Taga Jensen daw. NDU paghihapon sa NDU.
Yes, sir.
Ay, napadali ako. Pwede ko i-like. Ay, pwede kaayo, class. Pwede kaayo. Actually, class, halimbawa, no, kanang natay break. Kung gusto ninyo madungagan ang inyuhang ang inyong mga subscribers sa inyong balay, no, sa bahay ninyo, pwede niyo ilapag ang inyong mga link. Halimbawa, si Lenny na siya'y gusto niya maabot ang 1 million subscribers. So pwede niyo maibutang ang imuhang link dara para adtuan ni Vanessa. Sir, pwede i-like po si Ayan. Ayan, ilapag mo daw yung link mo kay adtuan ni Vanessa.
Only fans lang accounts.
Okay? So, kisa ganitong mag-joke sa ato ganina, nakalimutin noon ko. Kisa ganito si before good naghawa sa atong kuan, kisa ganito.
Mamades?
Ay, si Mama Des da ayan, Mama Des. Mama Des, pasok ka naman dito sa ating StreamYard para ikaw, bago tayo mag-start, kailangan mo munang mawala yung stress ng iyong mga classmates. Ito, di ba, no? Unsa man inyong experience during online class? Na-stress ba mo or jokes lang?
Stressing.
So, kailangan nato kung napadyo rin, pwede i-type lang na si Ann Rose. Dili pwede, Mades, dapat magsulod jud ka. Dapat kailangan jud mo. Yes, I understand nung stress. Number one reason kung stress stress dahil sa internet connection. Di ba? Even me, no, ma-stress jud ko kay oy nganong putol-putol man ko, putol-putol man akong connection. So, isa na siya. And then, number two, siguro, stress mo, kaya naalang mo sa balay. So, murag na bored mo, nga wala mo yung makaistorya, di ba, no? Sometimes, inana. Tama ba, no? Maboard, Ayan. Wala kayo machika, no? Wala kayo maistorya nga classmates. More on.
Naman siya kay sir.
Ay, naday, isa ka istorya niya. I-share daw, be. I-share daw ng mga secret ni Ian.
Wala ka istorya. mga tao sa balay, sir. Ako ate, ako mama.
So, as much as possible, class, buhato na to ang way nga mawala ang atong ka-stress. Di na gud ta magpa-stress. At least, di ba, naga-enjoy ta nga naga-learn. Di ba? So mo na siya kay ngano man class, kung sige lang taog basa, sige lang taog kuan di gyapon na mosulod sa inyong utak. Mao na siya no. Sige lang taog kanang fully overload na gyud kaayo ang atong brain. Maski unsa nag information dira, maski unsa pa na tudlo di gyud na mosulod. So naa gyud tay time nga mag-break or mag-joke. So that's the reason why gipa-prepare gyud ta mo. Oh, sakit sa ulo, sir. Sige, atuban. O, mo na, mag-intipara na ka, Mark Ramirez. O, sige, Mamades, i-type na lang dara ang imuhang kuan. Pero sulod ka, try to pasok naman dito. Grabe ka. Na-miss ba yata mong tanan, ha? So, dapat makita na ako ang inyong mga nawong. Ano ba si Goddess Well? Sir, sakit akong likod. Oy, pagirayuman na ka, Goddess. Basi taas ang atong uric acid dara kay uso baya karon ang unsa ni tawag kanang no lansones unsa pa ni unsa ni na rambutan yon. Ana po si Chelsea, sakit sa eyes, sir. Uy, sakit sa eyes, kailangan mo magkain ng unsa ni tawag kanang pampalinaw ng mata. Unsa man ang pampalinaw ng mata? Kalabasa. Rambutan yon. Hindi na ako, daghan mo. Hello, marinig niyo ako, class?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah. Oo, iyan. Oo, sakit yun sa tutunlan. Huwag yun nang isa na ako ka problem sakit sa tusikuan. Diba, di masabdan, ibalik na pod. Masabdan, ibalik na pod. Ni sir, before ko nag-report, nagkuha sa ako rambutan sa silingan. Sana all may rambutan ang silingan. Sir, sakit sa tutunlan kay ginapugan ang luha. Ngano ginapugan ang ngano gikuan? Ngano ginapugan ang luha? Nagaluha na ka, na-miss mo si Ira.
Kanang kahilakon, sir.
Kuha lang ana pa si kuan si Vanessa gikuha lang nako tong nahulog sir oy ha ha ha. Ay si nananay kuan ha nanana siya unsa na kanang Ascaris lumbricoides or hookworm. Kay na-touch sa soil. Oh. Sige, so, sino pa? Sino pa ang gusto? Ngano maulaw man mo magsulod sa card. So ay mo kaulaw hantod 10 ka buok diri makasulod. Sige sa pa to si Ann Mamades. Wala pa to ang Mamades, wala pa siya.
Sir, naala ko.
Ay, nahan na daay. Okay, sige, Ann. Please in your classmate, Ann, ha? Palihog. Okay, invite lang yung mga classmates, Ann. Para mawala ang atong stress. Ann! Okay, napakaganda ni Ann Rose. Okay, blooming na blooming. Saan ang location mo? Saan ang location? Hello, Ann. Ann, paglihok, daraan, grabe, walay lihok-lihok si Ann. Oo. Yan, tanawa si Ann, yan, wala yun naglihok. Si Annie, wala galihok,
Naglato
oh.
ko na, sir.
Oh, joke lang yun ni Annie. Annie, hello, Annie. Class, advertisement sa advertisement. Remind ay si Ma'am Grace class, no? Kung kinsa daw itong sa name, magpa-assist, magkuha og book, pwede niyo siguro siya i-contact. Are, nai, kuan. Mannequin challenge. Sorry yun kayo, nalingaw yun ko. Ani pa lang. O, di ba? O, isa lang na ito. iPhone isa, si Ian. Mannequin challenge. Ay, nako. Mannequin challenge. Nawala na hinuon si Ann. Ana Rose man mamades. Mao gyud, oo. Ang order ko academic freeze. Academic freeze, oh. Yan ba't ako bibigyan ng kaklase na naka-freeze? Wow, grabe ha. Muna ng joke ni Vanessa. Order ko academic freeze. Ba't ako bibigyan ng kaklase na naka-freeze? Oh, ang internet connection internet connection siguro. Sige, wala pa man siguro sila. Oy, sige Ian, sugdi na Ian. Habang wala pa sila.
Mag-share screen ako, sir.
Oh, sure. Share screen ka na.
Right.
Ano si Anne Rose Mamades? Madunggan ko, sir. Lamang ka nakasulod. Anne Rose? Annie Rose? Sige, sulod daw ka balik, Annie Rose. Daghan yun ni paper si unsa ni? Si Ian. Dili ka madunggan, Annie Rose, wala bang nakasulod? Wala ka nang sulod sa StreamYard, sulod sa para madunggan ka. Jolina, ikaw ba 'to nagabaligya og nakapos Jolina? Hello Jolina, ikaw ba 'to nagabaligya og mga litops? Okay, so habang hinihintay natin yung mga reporters natin, sige, habang hinihintay natin yung reporters natin, I have a question, class. Okay, I have a question. Sige. Sige, ready na ba? Ready na? Okay, so ang question ko class, for adult males, okay? Sa mga lalaki, nga mga adult. Okay? So pila ba, okay? Pila ba ang approximate nga blood nga whole blood concentration or pila ba ka liters? Okay, pila ba ka liters ang present nga dugo sa mga adult nga lalaki? Okay? Adult males, okay? Estimated. Yun. Sige. I-comment naman dyan sa comment section while waiting to our reporter. Sige. Kasi I think mahina yung internet ng iba. Okay, very good. May nakasagot na, no? The answer is 5 to 6 liters. Okay? Sige, Kas, 5 to 6 liters. Kung sa lalaki is 5 to 6 liters, ano naman sa babae? Okay? Ano naman ang sa babae, Kas? Pakisulat na sa ating comment section kung pila pod ang sa babae. Adult ha, adult.
May kagod mo na mag-connect video kaya hindi ako makakonect.
Saan eh? Hello, si Jolina. Ikaw ba to? Okay, may nakasagot na class. No? Sa babae class, no, na approximation. Okay? Sa babae class, the correct answer is 4 to 5 liters, okay, of whole blood. Don't forget that 4 to 5 liters of whole blood. Yan. Okay, so don't forget that. Yan yung mga common na mga questions ha, na huwag niyong kakalimutan even sa inyong hematology. Okay? Even sa inyong hematology. Okay? Ian? Can you hear me, Ian?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so pwede na mag-start, Ian?
Yes, sir. Okay lang, sir,
Sige.
na din ako i-on ng cam.
Unsa?
Okay lang nga din ako i-on ng cam.
Ano daw?
Dili
Oo,
i-on
okay.
ng cam.
Okay lang, Ian. I-hold screen na lang natin. Yan. Sige daw, class. Kunting survey muna kay mura gamay lang nag-answer Ian ha. Wait lang, Ian.
Yes, sir.
I-comment class electrochemistry kung present ba or kung ready na. I-comment electrochemistry. Nakita ko nag-participate 20 lang po. Sige, Ani Rose, ibutang na imong question dira, Ani Rose. Sige. Okay. Yan. I think okay na iyan. Lahat na tayo lahat na sila naka-reply na sila. Hello, Ian. Hello. Ian. Reporters, Jolina May. Rinig niyo ako?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Sige. Ian?
Yes, sir.
Okay, sige. Sige. Pwede na ka mag-start, Ian.
Hi guys, makinig ako.
Yes, yan.
Okay. So first, we'll tackle about electrochemistry. So if you're asked about electrochemistry, ano ang first thing na mag-come up sa mind niyo? Like, yung mag-pop up lang.
Oh. Okay, class, paki-comment ha, paki-comment sa comment section. Ano daw ang mag-pop up sa inyong mind pag makarinig kayo ng electrochemistry?
Let's go guys, let's go.
Sige, go class. Go participate kayo class, please participate. Na-check ko yung mga comments ninyo dito.
Okay, so we have Miss Lenny May Lisita sabi niya electricity. It's true. Next, goddess of Batadlan, ions, my electrons, electric. So if we base it to electrochemistry, so it is a noun. We pronounce it electro and chemistry. So when you say electrochemistry, it is the branch or it is the testing that deals with the chemical reactions that produce electricity and the changes associated with the passage of electrical current through matter. The reactions involve electron transfer, and so they are oxidation, reduction, or redox reactions. So, di ba sa redox reaction natin, meron tayong compound na nag-donate ng electrons, tapos yung isa is mawalan siya ng hydrogen. So, that very principle is similar siya sa principle ng battery. The battery also operates based on the principle of redox reaction or oxidation reduction reactions. So, electrochemistry is a type of analytical technique that measures ions in solution by their electrical properties. These ions are called electrolytes and include ionized sodium, potassium, chloride, bicarbonate, and calcium. So, diba, ang sodium, it is the most abundant extracellular analyte. Tapos, ang potassium is the most abundant intracellular. So, ito siya. So, ang electrochemistry, guys, is ginagamit siya pag mag-test tayo ng analyte sa blood or sa mga body fluids. So all all analytical procedures that involve electrochemistry operates on Ohm's law, which has the formula E is equal to IR. Electrochemical reactions employ the relationship of electrical potential E to resistance R and current, so that if two of these compounds are held constant, the third is measured and relates to the activity of the ion. So, ang resistance, yun yung yan siya yung anything na nagagamit ng electrons, tapos yung current, yan yung flow ng electrons through basta parang path, something ganyan. So, this is an example of an electrochemical cell. We have the anode and the cathode. A salt bridge made up of yung filter paper. Next is we have this na nag-measure sa electrical potential. And then, ito yung nag-oxidize or nagabigay ng electrons. Tapos ito yung ma-reduce or ito pala yung oxidation. Yun yung magbigay ng hydrogen gas sa reduction. Ito yung magbigay ng electrons. So, in the next slide, here we have the activity of the electrochemical cell. Kung makita nyo dyan, ang yellow is yun yung electrons natin. So, when you say cathode, from the word cat, di ba may cation tayo. Pag magsabi ka ng cation kay positively charged. Pag cathode naman, ibig sabihin yan yung part ng battery na nagabigay ng electrons. Therefore, in this reaction, di ba makita nyo, dito sa reduction na part, is that it gains, from oxygen gas plus 2 electrons, it gains 2 more hydrogen gas. Thus, dito naman sa oxidation na part, you have 2 silver ions na mag-oxidize tapos makagain siya ng 2 electrons. So, in an electrochemical cell, we have the galvanic and half cell. An electrochemical cell consists of 2 half cells and a salt bridge, which can be a piece of filter paper saturated with electrolytes. Similar to the function of the battery, the electrochemistry procedure is based on the principle of redox reaction or the reduction reaction potential. So when you say galvanic cells, simply it is the cells that produce electrons. As the electrodes are connected, there is a spontaneous flow of electrons from the electrode with a lower electron affinity, such as the silver. These electrons pass through the internal meter to the cathode, where the hydrogen ions are liberated. This reaction continues until one of the chemical components is depleted, at which point the cell is dead and cannot produce electrical energy to the external meter. So, gets nyo guys, dito sa galvanic cell, simply, it is the cells that gives off or the cells that produce electrons. Gets nyo? So, the next one, we have half cells. Half cells are sila yung half cells are the 2 half cell reaction decoupled and 1 reaction compared with the other, such as the zinc electrode or copper electrode. So when you say half cell, yan yung cell na di ba ang ating electrochemical cell, di ba may dalawa siya, may anode and cathode. So each of one, isang anode and isang cathode, ang tawag dyan sa kanila is half cell. So therefore, an electrochemical cell is composed of 2 half cells in order to operate. So ang ating standard na half cell is the hydrogen electrode. Pag sa hydrogen electrode is compared mo siya sa zinc electrode, mas makakuha ng electrons ang hydrogen compared to zinc because it has more affinity to electrons. Pero pag i-match mo naman ang hydrogen electrode sa copper electrode, kay mas makakuha ng electrons ang copper electrode kasi ang copper electrode kay more parang mas grabe ang kanyang affinity sa sa electrons. So next is we have the types of electrochemistry. We have potentiometry, the measurement of potential or voltage between two electrodes in a solution forms the basis for a variety of procedures for measuring analyte concentration. So, potentiometry, ito yung madalas na ginagamit natin sa lab, potentiometry. Next, we have the coulometry, measures the quantity of electricity or coulombs needed to convert an analyte to a different oxidation state. Next, we have the amperometry, measures the current in amperes. Ang itong coulometry pala guys, ang gina-measure niya dito is ang resistance. Tapos next is voltammetry, measuring the current at an electrode using a specific voltage generated at another electrode. We have another one, a polarography. A type of voltammetry measures current while controlling an increase in voltage. And lastly, we have osmometry, is the process of measuring dissolved particles in a solution using a series of variable resistors. So sa osmometry, same siya doon sa yung sa report yung nilaki yung osmometer. Yung, share. Julina, ito na. Sir, na backstage po daw si Julina. Sir?
Yes?
Na backstage daw po si Julina, sir.
No backstage, wait lang. Yan. Huwag lagi kayo mukhang kuan iyan. Ano sa'yo mong gigamit pag hindi na iyan?
Kuan, Photoshop.
As in? Nice. Hello, Jolina. Can you hear us? Okay, so habang hinihintay natin si Miss Jolina, I have a question, class. Okay? So, di ba, class, during blood collection class, kailangan natin gagamit ng tourniquet, di ba? Kailangan natin gagamit ng tourniquet upang magkaroon tayo or upang makakuha tayo ng blood sample sa isang patient or sa isang tao. So, ang question ko, class, ano naman, no? Okay, so ano naman ang procedure na hindi na kailangan gamit ng tourniquet? Okay, so it is also a process of adaptation na hindi na ninyo kailangan gumamit ng tourniquet. Sige daw. So pag magbuhat ng venous blood, kailangan ito magamit ng tourniquet. So unsa pod? Okay, pwede capillary puncture. Pwede capillary puncture. Pero class, sa kaninga test class, no, daghan kayo taon nga dugo. Okay, so exemption si capillary puncture. Okay? Sige. Capillary puncture, ano pa? Isa pa, ano pa? Okay? Very good. Capillary puncture. Ano pang isa? Ano pa? Meron pa? Sige. Sige, paki-comment naman ang mga sagot niyo dyan. Paki-comment naman ang inyong mga sagot. So, Jolina, can you hear us, Jolina? Ano pa? Ano pa? Meron pa? Hello, Jolina. Say hello daw. Say hello. Say hello. Sige, class, aside from capillary puncture, ano pa yun? Sige. Actually, may nakasagot na, pero gusto ko lahat kayo makasagot kung ano yun. Very good, very good. Alam nila lahat, okay? Sige, the answer is arterial puncture. Very good, yan. Arterial puncture. Sige. Yung Allen's test naman, so later on, i-discuss natin yung Allen's test. Okay? Yung Allen's test class, ha, hindi yan siya procedure ng arterial puncture. Yung Allen's test class, ginagawa yan siya class no para ma-detect natin yung blood flow. Okay? So, yung Allen's test class, no, or modified Allen test should be done to determine whether the ulnar artery can provide collateral circulation to the hands after the radial artery functions. Okay? So, class, okay, since arterial puncture, next question, class. Next question, ha, based sa inyong anatomy. Okay? So, class, the femoral, ano naman, class, no? Ano naman na artery, okay? Ano naman na parts ng inyong artery ang pinakadako? It is large and easy to puncture. Okay? So, part sa inyong arteries, kaya daghan tag arteries, di ba? Pero what part of your arteries ang large and easy to puncture? Pero class, kung kuhaan nimo ni siya og dugo, class, kabalo ba or kuhaan nimo siya arterial blood, okay, class? Very kuan ni siya kanang dapat naa kay extra care pag tigulang god ka ng mga older individuals kay ngano man, class, kani siya nga artery paspas kay siya mudugo, no, compared sa imuhang radial and brachial artery. Okay? So, dili na mag-answer og radial og brachial, ha, kay dili na silang answer. Okay? So, exemption, ha, si radial. Exemption si radial and brachial. Okay? Dili na sila ang answer. So, unsa pa nga klaseng artery? Unsa man, suko na? Ano pa? 7 letters, okay? 7 letters. Murag halos ana pa si Vanessa, jugular sir kay ignan kog ana sa omega. Jugular sir kay giingnan kog ana sa akong omegal. Unsang omegal? Sa jugular daw ko niya to sukon, haha. Unsang omegal? Anime, unsa na omegal anime?
Yang site good sir na mag-chat ng mga stranger.
Okay. Hala, sorry gyud kaayo, wala gyud ko kabalo. Hala, uy, millennial man hinoon ko pero wag gyud ko kabaluan ng umigel ba, promise. Wala ba si Kwan Vanessa istadihanan, sir? Okay, class, the correct answer, class, ha? Ayaw mo anagkuan anang omegel, class, ha? Ayaw mo anagkuan anang omegel. Istadihanan do na omegel, anime.
Ambot lang sir, wala ko gastadi dira.
Hello, uy. Sige, dili sa ta mag-isadi anang omegel para uniform mga to answer, ha? Alam mo sa sir site na siya para sa online study, oy. Okay, sige, I don't know unsa ang reference ni Omegel, ha, dili ko sure ana. Pero class, according to Henry's class, ha, correct answer, class, is femoral artery. Okay? Correct ha, correct. Kung sa answer no omegal, pasagdisa na si omegal ha. Pasagdisa na sa omegal kay ang answer sa gihatag sa ato ang book para uniform ta. Ay nako, dira day kagakuan for Telegram. Hala na lagi ko nabalaan karon omegal. Hala is for sharing ha omegal. Check ko na. Check din ako sa nang omegal. Class, please take note, class ha. Please take note. The correct answer is your femoral artery. Very good. Ang galing-galing ng mga students ko. Napa ko'y nabalaan karon omega. Yan.
Sir, dito makakonect si Jolina.
Masulod naman siya actually nagani siya dito sa front. Hello Jolina, can you hear us? Pero wala siya picture.
Nag-chat siya, sir.
Nag-chat siya. Sorry. Karon ako kan.
Ay, sa aming GC chemistry, sir. Yan siya, guys. Hirap talaga makakonect sa StreamYard. Nagaputol-putol.
Okay, baka makahina talaga yung... Asa si Jolina? Asa si Jolina? Grabe si Goddess. Focus kayo tayo si Goddess. Hello, Jolina. Can you hear us? Maganda na ka na mo, Jolina. Tulungan mo na lang siguro siya, Ian, no? Ikaw na lang mag-next sa iyang slide. Niya. Hello, Jolina. Narinig na yung... Jolina? Habang nag-prepare si Jolina, class, isa pa question sa isa pa question. Okay? Okay. Hinay gyud Jolina. Hinay jud ang iyang internet na nakasabot ko. Ilan, Jolina, tabangan lang ka sa imong mga classmates. Okay, habang nag-prepare si Jolina, last question, class, bago ta mag-proceed. Class, asa ba gamit, no? Asa ba gamit ang atong arterial puncture? Asa ba na siya nga mga para asa man na siya nga mga test? Okay? Unsa ba na siya nga purpose ang kanang arterial blood? Okay? Para asa man na siya nga mga test? Okay, pag-isulat naman, class, pag-isulat naman sa iyong mga sagot sa ating comment section. What are the uses of your arterial blood? Hello, Jolina. Paramdam ka naman, Jolina. Please unmute your mic. Sige, ikaw na. It's your time to shine, Jolina. Okay, may nakasagot na. Pero gusto ko po yung isa. Okay, arterial blood gas and ano pa? Sige. Dalawa yan sila. Mostly, dalawa yung common na ginatest natin dyan. Okay, arterial blood gas and ano pa? Sige. Hello, Jolina. Okay, may clue ako sa second na sagot. Dalawang letters lang siya. Dalawang letters lang. Good. Very good. Yan, may nakasagot na. pH or blood pH. Okay, don't forget that, class, ha? Please don't forget that your arterial blood gas, class, uses to detect or to measure your arterial blood gas as well as your pH of your blood. Okay? So, yan yung mga sample na kailanganin para to detect your blood gas and your pH. Okay, so ready na? Yan.
Sir,
So, hindi makapasok si Jolina, Ian, just save her na lang. I-save mo na lang siya kasi yung sama itong hinagid ang internet nila daraa.
sige, sir.
Okay, sige.
So, we have potentiometry. Potentiometry is an electrical system of measuring change in electrical potential between a detecting electrode and a standard reference electrode in which a current is kept constant. So, from the word potential, meaning potential, it measures the electrical potential. So, potentiometry. So, di ba kanina gisabi natin na all electrochemistry techniques use the Ohm's law as its principle. So, dito sa potentiometry, di ba, detecting electrode and a standard reference electrode in which a current is kept constant. So, bibigyan tayo dito ng constant na current. So, constant yung I. Pagkatapos, ang dinadetect na lang natin dito is yung E or the electrical potential. So, in the potentiometry, we use ion-selective electrodes or ISEs to measure the activity of one ion versus other ion. So, this is an example of a standard potentiometry in the lab. So, di ba dito meron tayong reference sample, this one, tapos sample solution, potentiometer, and then we have the ion selective electrode. So dito sa ion selective electrode natin, there are many types of ion selective electrode, but the most common type of ion selective electrode used in the lab is the pH electrode. So sa parts ng ating electrode, meron tayong reference or the internal. Next, we have the internal solution, and then the ion selective membrane. So, i-discuss mamaya ni Ms. Zamora kung anong different types of membrane and the purpose of this membrane. So, dito sa internal solution natin, guys, the purpose of this internal solution is for, yung osmosis. So, since diba liquid man itong sample solution, the purpose of the internal solution is para magka-osmosis good guys, or to regulate the diffusion of the selected ion in the potentiometer or the ion selective electrode. Gets nyo guys? Gets nyo guys? Comment daw kayo smiley kung gets nyo. Or magsabi lang kayo sa comment section guys if hindi nyo gets. Okay na? Mag-continue ako? Okay, nice. Sige, so ang reference namin dito sa slide na to is sa Henry's. So, potentiometry, it is the electrical potential that are produced in the interface between a metal and a metal ions in a solution. This potential also exists when a membrane semi-permeable to that ion separates different concentrations of an ion. To measure the electrode potential, a constant voltage source is needed as a reference potential. So, dito sa potentiometry, di ba, isabi dito na meron tayong it measures the electrical potential between a metal and a metal ions in a solution. So, yung metal doon is, makita mo siya doon dito sa may ating reference or sa internal at saka sa internal solution. The purpose of this metal is para mag-create ng gradient para makapass ang ating mga metal ions through the semi-permeable membrane. So we have the terms here, reference electrode. Reference electrodes are electrodes with constant voltage. And next we have an indicator electrode, or the electrode that measures. So concentration of ions in a solution can be calculated from the measured potential difference between two electrodes. The measured cell potential is related to the molar concentration by the Nernst equation. Here, in the next slide, we have the Nernst equation. E is equal to the cell potential measured is equal to the standard reduction potential minus the molar gas constant times the absolute temperature over the number of electrons involved in the reaction multiplied by Faraday's constant, 96,485 charge per mole, normal logarithm of A reduced and over the A oxidized. So, di ba dito, gisabi man kanina sa potentiometry na may constant tayo na, yung sa mole, constant na ang ating standard reduction potential. So, pag makita nyo dito sa next, na yung may equals, so, di ba dito is the standard reduction potential minus 2.32 times the molar gas constant times the absolute temperature over the number of electrons involved in the reaction times the Faraday's constant, natural logarithm of, ay, di na siya natural logarithm guys, logarithm na lang siya. So, the logarithm of A reduced and A oxidized. So, mamaya explain ni Ms. Zamora kung ano ang Nernst equation. So, di ba kanina sabi natin na the potentiometer uses an ion selective electrode. So, from itself, ion selective. So, pinaselect niya lang ang ions na i-measure niya. Ion selective electrodes are the most commonly employed methods of analysis for many electrolytes, including sodium and potassium. Since spectrophotometric methods have been proven to be less effective, only free unbound ions is measured, which becomes significant when measuring such ions such as calcium and magnesium. So, kaya parang ineffective ang spectrophotometric methods in measuring analytes because our analytes are metals. Ang metals is hindi siya masyado effective sa absorption ng colors kaysa sa absorption ng colors just as our spectrophotometry. Pero it is very effective when you use magnetism to measure it. So in this slide, it explains why an ion selective electrode is used rather than the spectrophotometric methods. Electrical potential is set up with a reference electrode to which a standard voltage is applied and the current is kept zero. Change in potential is due to the presence of ions in the solution. So, itong ion selective electrode natin is nakakalibrate niya siya into zero at different pH. Once there is a change in potential due to the presence of ions in this solution, ang ating standard voltage is mag-change and ang change na is yun yung corresponding amount of the ions in a solution. So this one, ito na definition is from Henry's ito. So ion selective electrodes are an electrochemical transducer capable of responding to one specific ion. An ISE, or an ion selective electrode, is very sensitive and selective for the ion it measures. It consists of a membrane, other barriers separating a reference solution and a reference electrode from the solution to be analyzed. The complexity of ion selective electrode design depends on the membrane barrier composition that determines its ionic selectivity. Many types of ISEs are available, including gas electrodes, liquid membrane electrodes, precipitate impregnated membrane electrodes, solid state electrodes, gas electrodes, and enzyme electrodes. So, as I said before, pH electrode is the universally used ion selective electrode in the clinical laboratory. So this is an example of a pH meter. The pH meter uses an ion selective electrode with a voltmeter sa taas. The pH electrode consists of a silver wire coated with silver chloride immersed into an internal solution of 0.1 millimoles per liter of hydrochloric acid and placed into a tube containing a special glass membrane tip. So the glass membrane tip is only sensitive to hydrogen ions. It contains quantities of lithium, cesium, lanthanum, barium, and aluminum oxides in silicate. When put into a solution, the movement of hydrogen ions in the pH electrode creates a potential difference between the internal solution measured by the pH voltmeter, and it has a built-in reference electrode, such as the silver chloride electrode or the calomel electrode. One of the interferences in the pH electrode is that cation ions is when your solution has a higher concentrate of cation ions or positively charged ions. We have another one, the PCO2 electrode. So the PCO2 electrode is the pH electrode contained within a plastic jacket. This plastic jacket is filled with a sodium bicarbonate buffer and has gas permeable membranes such as Teflon or silicone across its opening. So this PCO2 electrode is used when measuring the pH of the blood. Kung hindi pH is it is also used in measuring arterial blood gas analysis. So, Ms. Zamora.
Hello, marinig niya ako?
Yes, okay, marinig ako. Ay, marinig ako. Marinig ako. So before tayo mag-proceed, class, ha? Before tayo mag-proceed, meron muna akong question. Okay? Sige, ready na bang makasagot? Okay, paki-screenshot yung mga nakasagot, ha? Screenshot nyo later para ma-access niyo yung books natin. Okay, class. Number 1 question ko, class. In your potentiometry, no? Yung gi-report ni Gerald kanina. Ay, Gerald, sorry. Ni Ian. Okay? So, class, what are your reference electrodes na ginagamit sa ating potentiometry? Reference electrodes. Please comment down below your answer para mabalaan ako kung kinsa pa ba ang gising dito. May nakasagot na dito. Okay? Yes, tama ang calomel, okay? Calomel, tama yan sila. Pero dalawa yung common na ginagamit natin dito. Okay, dalawa yung common na ginagamit. Yung ginagamit natin are calomel and silver chloride. Please take note of that. Pag-isulat. Okay, pag-isulat sa inyong notes. Okay? Sige, next question. May follow-up question ako, ha? May follow-up question ako. Saan ba ginagamit ang ating potentiometry? Ano ba ang mga test na pwede nating i-detect dyan? Okay, ano yung mga test na gina-perform? Okay, ano na-analyze? Okay, ano na-analyze iyan? Very specific, yung specific na mga analytes. Okay? Specific analytes. Yan. Okay? Yun, okay, may nakasagot na. Okay? Meron tayo ditong, no, si City pa rin, sila City, sisters, APH and PCO2. And of course, class, please don't forget itong sagot ni Ian. Potassium, sodium, bicarbonate, and chloride. Okay? As well as your electrolytes. Okay? Okay? Yan. H and CO2 and of course your electrolytes. Don't forget that. Pakisulat sa inyong notes, ha? Pakisulat sa inyong mga notes. Those are very, very important na mga notes natin na dapat di natin makalimutan. Okay? Kasi yan sila ang palaging lumalabas sa mga exam. Okay? Yung reference electrodes at saka yung uses nila. Di ba next, no? Next na naman, class. Okay, di ba na-discuss ni Ayan yung ion selective electrode? Ayan, tama ba ako? Na-discuss mo, di ba, after your potentiometry kay ISE?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So, yung next question ko, class, next question ko. There are two types of ion selective electrodes. Okay? Pakisulat naman, class, yung dalawang uri ng ating ISE. Two types of ISE. Sige. Ano yung dalawang uri ng ating ISE? Pakisulat naman. On. Okay? We have the direct and your indirect ISE. Okay? Direct and indirect ISE. Class, ang pagkakaiba nila, class, no? pagkakaiba is that your direct ISE class without sample dilution. Okay, dili na nimo kailangan i-dilute ang imong sample para i-detect na nato ang mga analytes nga dapat natong i-detect. Next na naman class, pag indirect na naman class, kailangan natin class i-dilute muna yung sample class upang bago natin i-test ang ating analytes. Okay? Pag sinabing direct class, pag sinabing direct, no dilution na ha, no dilution. Okay? Pag sinabing indirect class, indirect, indirect. Pag sinabing indirect class, kailangan natin ng dilution. Okay? So, need dilution. Okay? So class, meron tayong mga tinatawag na ISE or ion selective electrode membranes. Sige class, paki-comment naman class sa ating comment section kung ano yung ating mga membranes na ginagamit sa ating ISE. Okay? Okay, may nakasagot na ba? Meron ditong solid liquid gas membrane. Okay. Yun, gas aluminum silicate. Okay. Valinomycin gel. Okay. So yan, okay. Class, the correct answer is your glass aluminum silicate. No? It is used for your sodium. Okay. Ginagamit sa sodium natin, class. Next is your valinomycin class. Valinomycin gel is for your potassium. Okay. We have also organic liquid membrane ion exchanger class for your calcium and lithium. And of course, your gas enzyme electrodes. Please take note of this class ha. Pag-isulat class, paki-add sa inyong mga notes. Okay, so I think we're done. Next is reporter.
Hello.
Okay. Okay, so hintayin mo natin yung mga classmate natin na baka nag-research pa to sila. Okay, class, mag-ready na, pakisulat ng reference electrode, hashtag reference electrode. Sige. Yan, Miss Roxine, I think ready na sila.
Sige mo to.
Sir. So now we will discuss what is reference electrode. Yan pa next. Reference electrode is an electrode which has a stable and well-known electrode potential. It is commonly used in column electrode. In many electroanalytic applications, example, in measuring pH, it is desirable that the half-cell potential of one electrode be known, constant, and completely insensitive to the composition of the solution under study. An electrode that fits this description is called a reference electrode. So, ang reference electrode, merong 4 na ideal type para matawag siya na reference electrode. Number 1, dapat naga-confirm to the Nernst equation. So, kung ano yung ano mo sa Nernst equation mo, nag-agree ang reference electrode mo. Number 2, exhibit a potential that is constant with the time. Number 3, yan pabalik. Return to its original potential after being subjected to small currents. And number 4, exhibit a little hysteresis. Example, lags with temperature cycling. So, hysteresis is a phenomenon in which the value of a physical property lags behind changes in the effect causing. Yan pa next. So, calomel, it is a paste predominantly mercurous chloride. It is direct contact with metallic mercury in the electrolyte solution of potassium chloride. As long as an electrolyte concentration and temperature is constant, stable voltage is generated as the interface of mercury and salt. So, kapag stable ang iyong concentration at saka temperature, sa gitna ng mercury at saka ang salt, di ba, interface, merong stable voltage. Filling hole needed for adding potassium chloride solution. So, ang filling hole usually provide to refill the regenerated reference system. Liquid junction needed for the completion of electric contact between reference and indicator electrode. It consists of a fiber or ceramic plug that allows small flow of electrolyte filling solution. Ito siya, para siyang tiny opening at the bottom. Makita niyo mamaya. And next yan. Ito, example ito ng reference electrode. Sa taas, may filling holes, and then yung saturated na KCl, potassium chloride, then sa gitna yung platinum wire, tapos sa baba, mercury, calomel, tether glass, KCl crystals, and tether glass. Eto, di ba na-discuss na ito ni Ann kanina pero ulitin ko lang. Sa figure na ito, makita natin ang necessary components of pH meter. Sa left side, meron ang indicator electrode. This one, the pH electrode consists of a silver wire coated with AgCl and immersed into an internal solution and placed into a tube containing a special glass membrane. This membrane is only sensitive to hydrogen ions. Makita niyo sa baba, di ba, nakalagay, sensitive lang siya sa hydrogen ions. Yung H at saka yung sensitive na word dyan. When the pH electrode is placed into the test solution, movement of hydrogen near the tip of the electrode produces a potential difference between the internal solution and the test solution, which is measured as pH and need by a voltmeter. Sa taas, makita yung voltmeter. Yan yung instrument para ma-measure natin yung electrical potential difference between the 2 points. And then sa right side, makita nyo ang reference electrode. Ito, di ba siya ang commonly used in calomel electrode? Yung cable dyan na naka-connect leads to the voltmeter. The filling hole, yang sabi ko kanina, yung parang para maka-refill ng KCl, dyan gina-add yung KCl. And then the liquid junction sa baba consists of a fiber or ceramic plug that allows a small flow of electrolyte filling solution. Electric connection between the indicator and reference electrode is achieved by allowing a slow flow of electrolyte from the tip of the reference electrode. The most commonly used pH electrode has both the indicator and reference electrode combined in one small probe, which is convenient when small samples are tested. It consists of AG or AGCL. Yan sa baba, makita niyo yung AG and AGCL internal reference electrode sa may left side sa may indicator electrode. And in a narrow glass cylinder with a pH-sensitive glass tip. The outer glass envelope is filled with potassium chloride and has a tiny pore near the tip of the liquid junction. Next yan. All reference electrode must generate a stable electrical potential and must consist of metal and its salt in contact with a solution containing the same ion. Example, mercury and mercurious chloride. Ito siya, frequently used reference electrode, but may disadvantage siya. Slow to reach a new stable voltage following the temperature and it is unstable above 80 degrees Celsius. Next, we have the silver and silver chloride. It can be used at high temperature. It makes more compact electrolyte than that of mercury. Si silver and silver chloride, another common reference electrode siya, mas stable siya kasi it can be stable up to 275 degrees Celsius compared sa mercury na mag-unstable na siya pag 80 degrees Celsius. And bakit siya more compact? Kasi ang silver chloride is coated with silver wire that makes more compact. And for measurements with chloride contamination must be avoided, si mercury sulfate and potassium sulfate ang pwede gamitin. Next
Guys,
yan.
another note, ang mercury or mercurious chloride, yan yung calomel. Ako mag-discuss din.
Ikaw.
So, we have here another formula of the Nernst equation, but this time, ang ginatukoy niya dito is yung relationship of the Nernst equation to the temperature and relationship of the Nernst equation to the temperature and the hydrogen activity. So here we have the formula epsilon is equal to delta pH times RT, or the molar gas constant, times the temperature in Kelvin. Natural logarithm of 10 over the Faraday's constant is equal to the change in pH times 0.059 voltage. So, diba dito, is igawa namang constant yung isa. So, in this equation, is determine nyo na lang ang relationship sa change in pH and sa hydrogen activity. The electromotive force generated because of the hydrogen ions at the glass tip is described by this Nernst equation. As the temperature increases, hydrogen activity increases and the potential generated increases. Most pH meters are manufactured for greatest accuracy in the 10 degrees Celsius to 60 degrees Celsius range. So, di ba, gisabi kanina na ang calomel electrode kay up to, lang siya, 80 degrees Celsius. It's because, ang kaya niya lang ma-detect na parang, yung electroactivity is up to lang siya, from up to 80 degrees Celsius lang siya. Kaya diba, pag mag-change ang pH, pag nag-increase ang pH, nag-increase din ang electron activity, and therefore, mas nag-excite siya. Pagkatapos, once mag-excite siya, mas faster ang pag-move ng electrons from one electrode to another. That's why, pag magtaas ang temperature, magtaas din ang hydrogen ion activity. So here we have the calibration of our pH electrode. So first is you balance the system with the electrode in a buffer with 7.0 pH or the neutral. The balance is intercept control shifts the entire slope. Next, place the buffer with one of the different pH. If the meter does not register the correct pH, amplification of the response changes the slope to match the predicted by Nernst equation. If the instrument does not have a slope control, the temperature compensator performs the same function. So, kung makita niyo sa picture, ang first dyan is gilagay yung pH electrode sa isang buffer solution with a pH of 7.0, so neutral. So, ang slope niya, makita nyo, is parang, ano siya, yung perpendicular, tama. Tapos next, you put the pH electrode again in another buffer solution with a different pH, may it be positive or negative. Pero, using the Nernst equation kanina, ito, so, di ba, nakalagay doon yung, naka-change doon ang pH. So, if the pH is, for example, we have the pH of 6. So, 6, multiply mo siya sa 0.059 voltage. Ang expected results is maglabas dapat siya dito sa slope sa second. Yung, yung expected result computed from the Nernst equation. If mali ang maglabas na result, that means need for further calibration ng inyong pH electrode. So here we have the three major ion selective electrodes. Roxine.
So the three major ISE are number 1, solid material membrane. Other solid-state membrane consists of either a single crystal or fine crystals immobilized in an inert matrix such as silicon rubber. Another example din dyan kay ang glass. Conduction depends on a vacancy defect mechanism, and the crystals are formulated to the selective of a particular size, shape, and change. For example, fluorine is selective electrode of lanthanum fluoride. Then chlorine for silver chloride and silver bromide for bromine. Then we have the liquid material. Ay, sa solid pala, hindi siya ang electrode, hindi siya makapass kasi solid man yung nagadikit lang siya or nagalapit. Sa liquid naman, makapasok siya kapag water water soluble. The calcium ISE is a liquid membrane electrode. An ion selective carrier such as dioctyl phosphate dissolved in an inert water-soluble solvent diffuses through a porous membrane. Because the solvent is insoluble in water, the test sample cannot cross the membrane. Yun, kapag insoluble sa water, hindi siya makakross ng membrane. Pero kapag soluble siya, makakross siya ng membrane. But calcium ions are exchanged. The Ag or AgCl internal reference in a filling solution of CaCl2 is in contact with the carrier by means of the membrane. And the last one, we have the special membrane. Ito siya, pilit lang talaga ang kanyang, wala pa lang makapasok kasi special. We have the gas sensing membrane. This membrane is permeable to the gaseous analyte. So kapag gas lang din, yun lang din. And the other one is enzyme membrane electrodes. Next yan.
So here we have the types of electrochemistry. Di ba kanina i-discuss natin yung mga voltammetry, coulometry, and stuff. So in here, coulometry measures the quantity of electricity in coulombs, as I said before, needed to convert an analyte to a current state. By definition, a coulomb is the quantity of electricity or charge that is transported in 1 second with a constant current of 1 ampere. For a constant current of 1 ampere for t seconds, the number of coulombs Q is given by the expression Q for the coulombs is equal to 1 ampere times the time or the seconds, or the time in seconds. Coulometry is used to measure chloride ions in serum, plasma, CSF, and sweat samples. In measuring chloride with coulometry, a constant current is applied across the two silver electrodes, which liberate silver ions into a specimen at a constant rate. Chloride ions from the sample combine with released silver ions to produce insoluble silver chloride. A pair of indicator and reference electrodes sensing the excessive silver ions and stops the titration. The number of silver ions released by the ionization, which is calculated equal to the chloride ions in the sample, can be calculated from Faraday's law. So, di ba, kanina, my expression tayo na Q is equal to IT. So, in computing the chloride in the sample using coulometry, ang Q, which is the coulombs, is now Z and F, or the number of electrons involved in the reaction times the number of moles of analyte in the sample multiplied by the Faraday's constant. Again, we have amperometry. Amperometry is the measurement of the current flow produced by an oxidation-reduction reaction. Several immobilized enzymes electrodes use this principle as do PO2 electrodes and chloride titrators. So yung PO2 electrode, kaya yan yung type ng electrode na nag-sense ng gas sa ating arterial blood. Ito. Oxygen in blood incorporated in blood gas analyzers uses an amperometric or current sensing electrolytic cell as the indicator electrode. The PO2 electrode uses a gas permeable membrane, so it is a special membrane, usually polypropylene, which allows dissolved oxygen to pass through. This membrane also prevents other blood constituents that may interfere with the electrode from passing through. Once the oxygen permeates the membrane, it reacts with a polarized platinum cathode in turn, produces a change in the current through the cell and the climate, and the change is directly proportional to the partial pressure of oxygen present in the specimen. So this one is the voltammetry. So voltammetry, it is a method in which a potential is applied to an electrochemical cell and the resulting current is measured. The most important advantage of voltammetry are sensitivity and the capability for multi-element measurements. Analytes can be detected in the parts per billion range, so ppb. With careful selection of testing conditions and methods, several analytes can be measured simultaneously in a single voltammetric study. Voltammetry consumes minimal analyte, unlike allometry, which converts all of the analyte into another state. So in voltammetry, we have what you call anodic stripping voltammetry. It is an electrochemical technique used to measure heavy metals such as lead. The measurement of lead in blood occurs in basically two steps. First, free lead is electroplated or deposited into the platinum cathodes at a characteristic voltage. Second, the lead is stripped off of the platinum cathode and the current is monitored over time. The current value is proportional to the amount of lead in the blood sample. This technique allows the sample to be pre-concentrated at the electrode, which enables the method to detect very low analyte levels. So itong anodic stripping voltammetry daw, it is commonly used in yung mag-test kagod ng crime scene. Kasi other people uses poisons that are heavy metals such as lead, cyanide. This one, parang, for example, cyanide is a very heavy metal. Tapos, yung madali lang siya mawala ang trace niya sa blood. Kaya dapat, i-test mo siya yung pangmadalian. Anodic stripping voltammetry is used to measure those kinds of metals and metal poisonings. So here we have testing and methodology. When we say testing and methodology, ito yung mga types ng mga test na ginagawa sa lab. Mga example lang ito, and their methods on how to test it. So first, we have the methodology of electrolyte analysis. So its reaction principle is that when the ion contacts the electrode, there is a change in potential compared to the reference electrode due to the ionic activity. An indirect ISE system dilutes the sample with diluent prior to analysis of the electrode. A direct ISE system measures the electrolytes in diluted samples and will not be subject to falsely lowered sodium or chloride levels due to the volume replacement by large amounts of kilomicrons or paraprotein. So, dito sa ating electrolyte analysis, we have other interference such as hemolysis. Pag magka-hemolyze sample ka, there is a release of potassium sa blood, sa ating blood cells kasi potassium is a major intracellular analyte. We have also refrigeration that may enhance of the whole blood that may enhance intracellular potassium release from erythrocytes. Tapos, indirect ISE system cause false decrease in sodium and chloride solution due to the dilutional effect by the hyperlipidemia. Hyperproteinemia is another problem as those large lipid or protein molecules is unusually high amounts displace some of the volume of the plasma within the dilution. So another interference is yung pag matagal na masyado ang tourniquet sa kamay mo kasi 'di ba a tourniquet prolonged for more than 2 minutes increases mag-increase ang kanyang cholesterol, calcium, albumin, sa madami, 'di ba? Lipids and stuff. So pag mahaba or long ang time mo na naglagay ka ng tourniquet, it may interfere with the sample. So our specimen for electrolyte analysis, we have the venous serum, lithium or heparinized whole blood, lithium heparinized whole blood, plasma heparinized arterial whole blood, heparinized plasma, which is the specimen of choice. Also, we can detect analytes from urine, sweat, CSF, and gastric fluids. So, dito sa urine, di ba gina-measure na mga analyte kayo madami-madami man din. Okay. For yung, wait lang, ano ko na. So, here we have the reference range of different analytes. You have plasma sodium, 136 to 145 millimoles per liter, potassium 3.5 to 5.1 millimoles per liter, chloride 98 to 107 millimoles per liter, and carbon dioxide 22 to 38 millimoles per liter.
Then we have the chloride analysis by colorimetry. Next yan. Reaction principle. Colorimetry operates on the principles of Faraday's law. This method employs a silver anode that releases silver ions at a constant rate due to constant electrical potential. These ions react with chloride ions, forming insoluble silver chloride. When all of the chloride ions are reacted with the generated silver ion, there is a sharp increase in current conducted. Since current relates to electrical charge per unit of time, the time of titration is proportional to the chloride activity in the sample. This method is commonly used for sweat analysis. So dito, kung ano yung time ng titration mo, proportional siya sa kung ano ang chloride activity ng sample. Sige daw, Be, kung nakinig kayo kanina, ano ang value ng Faraday's law? Ay, ano yung constant value niya? Ang first kay mayroong price, Gcash, si Ayan provide, joke lang. Pero bitaw. Ano? Sino first two, may Gcash na price.
Yun, may Gcash daw, may Gcash. Magkano ba yan? Magkano yung load na yan?
Good, sir?
10 pesos daw, 10 pesos worth of load. Okay, sige. Go, go, bilisan nyo na class, may question. So, ito yung gawin mo, Roxine, kasi yung iba parang delayed. Say, isulat.
Sir?
Isulat daw.
Ay, isulat.
Isulat mo sa comment section ang question para makabasa ang uban. Tapo na itong mabalaan kung naminaw ba sila o wala. Ginabilang man ako ang mga nag-answer. Mabalaan ako kung present sila o wala.
Ano, nalagyan niya yung flavor po ng mala. Paano ako atingin? Kaning California style. Ikaw ba? Kamahal sina.
Yan na, may nadalawa na. Tama si Zara, tsaka si Ashanova. Sige, PM niyo ako. Bigyan ko kayo 10-10. Next yan.
Kailan daw maklaim ang prize?
Anytime.
Anytime.
Ayun na, charot. After ng report.
Okay, yan. 90. Yan. Si Zara Gubat and Asia Nova. Nakita nyo na ba yung mga vlog nila? Nakita nyo na ba yung mga vlog nila? Shout out pa ha. Si Asia Nova. Thank you, Asia Nova, sa shout out.
I mean, sorry. So here, go raw.
Here are the calculations performed by the instrument. Equivalent titrant is equal to amperes times time over F. Yan yung Faraday's law, where F is equals to 487 times coulombs over equivalent weight. For example, activity of chloride, amperes times time over 96,487. Ito yung Faraday's law times coulombs over 35.5. So, kung may given dyan, i-substitute lang yan. Next yan. Ito ang Reference range. Sa serum chloride, 98 to 107 millimole per liter, and sa sweat chloride, we have 5 to 35 millimole per liter. Next, yan.
So, wala man si Jolina. So, ano ko. Ako na lang the PO2 measurement by polarography or amperometry. So, PO2 is measured by a polarographic electrode that is filled with buffer and covered with a semi-permeable membrane. The dissolved oxygen diffuses through the membrane and reacts with the buffer and is reduced at the platinum cathode charged with a direct current voltage. The resulting flow of electrons is measured by ammeter versus the reference electrode maintained with a constant potential. So, dito lang sa kanya is, ang principle niya is same go doon sa sa gas electrodes. Di ba ang gas electrodes is dinadissolve niya lang ang mga gases sa kanyang paligid para makadifuse papunta sa loob at measure na yung change in electrical potential. So, in here, oxygen is dissolved and diffuses through the membrane that reacts with the buffer and is reduced at the platinum cathode charged with a direct current. So the reference range of adult arterial oxygen is 83 to 108 millimoles millimole mmHg/di. Wait lang. Ito siya sa freezing point methodology for osmolality measurement. Doon sa isang libro, sa libro tayo ni Turgeon, yun. Kaya nasali siya sa reaction principle, nasali siya sa electrochemistry. Pero topic naman ito nila Kedge. So, hindi na namin i-discuss. Yun na, end na.
Okay, so yun. Okay, galing-galing ng mga reporters natin. Sige, may questions pa ba? May questions? Yan. Fresh talaga si Ian. Hala, oy Ian, don't turn off your camera. Oh, ayaw i-turn off imong camera, Ian. Grabe ka. Salamatan naman natin yung mga reporters natin. Yan, okay. Yan si Ian. Ian, ano daw ang sekreto mo sa imuhang buhok? Yan. Oh, maraming heart. Kagwapo, oy. Okay. Class, may question ako ha. May question ako, class. Okay, review question to, class ha. Under your colorimetry, ha? Your colorimetry class. Okay, under your colorimetry class, ano yung uses ng inyong colorimetry? Okay, ano yung ginatest ng inyong colorimetry? Okay, pakilagay naman dyan sa ating comment section ang tamang sagot. Okay, ano na analyte ang ginatest ng ating colorimetry? Kung nakinig kayo, pinaayan, okay, masasagutan nyo yan. Okay, ano yon? What I mean, ano yung test? Okay, ano yung mga test na analytes pala rather, okay? Ano yung ginatest natin na analyte sa ating colorimetry? Analyte. Yon. Ang kambal sa uma. Oh, ito. Sila ang unang nakasagot, ang dalawang kambal. Okay, so these are tests for your chloride, okay? Especially for your CSF, serum, and your singot-singot. Okay, please take note of that, ha? Okay, so kung may mga test din tayo, mayroon din tayong possible na mga interferences. Okay, mga interferences. Ano yung mga possible interferences? Okay, ano yung mga possible interference natin? Okay, sa ating colorimetry. When we test for chloride, there are possible interferences na magkakaroon. So yan, okay, may mga sagot na naman. Okay, Lenny May, sabi ni Lenny May, cyanide cyanide, bromide, and ano yung cysteine? Cysteine yan. I think cysteine. Na wrong spelling lang. Okay? Cysteine class ha, please take note of that class. The possible interference are the following. The bromide, the cyanide, and your cysteine. Iyan, may additional ka pa ba sa kanila? Meron ka pa ba additional?
Wala na, sir.
Okay, so bago tayo mag-off class ha, bago tayo mag-break, off, mag-break. Okay, so class, magpili sa taog next reporter para makaprepare na sila daan. Okay? And of course, class, magpili sa class og inyohang name. Before ta mag-break class, dapat naasay mag-entertain sa ato para at least, di ba, mga unta, so malingaw sa ta. So mangita sa ta, mamili sa ta class og next reporter. And we have densitometry. Okay, next yan ha, next, okay? Sige, densitometry. Pero class, bago tayo mag-out class, para naman no, ma-entertain yung inyong mga classmates class, kailangan natin dapat may mag-entertain sa atin. Okay? Yun, si Valdez, I think. No? Si Valdez. Yan. Okay, Valdez. It's time to shine. Okay? Valdez. Pasok ka dito, Valdez. Habang hinihintay natin si Valdez, habang hinihintay natin si Valdez, last question, class, ano yung standard needle na ginagamit natin sa laboratory? Okay, ano yung standard gauge? Ano yung standard gauge na needle, no, na ginagamit natin sa laboratory for blood collection? Yun. Hello, Valdez. Saan ka na? Pasok ka na dito, Valdez. Okay, 21 gauge. Very good. Valdez, paki-present naman dyan kung nandito ka ba, Valdez. Class, meron ding iba na book class, no? Meron ding iba na mga reference book class na nagsasabi na 22 gauge daw. Okay? So, pilihan na lang dyan kung sa exam ninyo ha. Sa inyong board exam class, sa inyong board exam may lumabas na 21. Kung ang choices is 21, yung 21 ang pipiliin. Okay? Pero pag wala ang 21 pero may 22, yung 22 ang pipiliin. Okay? Pag children class, ano yung common na ginagamit natin na needle? Okay? Ano yung needle gauge na ginagamit natin sa ating mga children? Okay? Ano yung common? Okay? For your children. Yun, 23 gauge. Okay? 23 gauge. Ga-error. Okay, ga-error si Julina. Sige lang, Julina, i-type na lang ang imuhang joke sa imong mga classmate, hindi ka kasulod. Sige lang, any representative lang, any representative sa inyong class, no? Kung sino ba ang makapasok dyan. Sige. Bigyan natin ng special points, okay? Kung sino yung makapasok dito. So, aside sa na mga nakapasok na, So, i-remove ko na sila dito sa participation pag kayo ay makapasok dito sa ating link. Okay. Sino kaya? Oo, nakasabot yung ko, Julene, Mama Ani Rose, Mama Adis. Ulan nun daw sa ilaha. Mauli siya kasulod. Nana ba'y naka-answer? 23 gauge ha, 23 gauge for children. Okay naman class, pag sinasabing butterfly needle ha, butterfly needle, pila ba ka gauge ang ginabutang nato sa atong butterfly needle? Hmm. Okay, so yung ranges no 18 to 27 gauge. So yung common, okay, yung common na ginagamit sa ating butterfly. Okay? I think may nakasagot na. So we have 21, 23, and 25 gauge needle. Okay? Okay, so please take note of that, class, ha? Please take note of that. Okay, so I think yan lang muna ngayon. So later on, babalik tayo ha, reporters, please prepare. Okay, so bago tayo mag-break class, pakisulat naman ng comment section. RMT ako 2022. Yan. Claim na natin to class, claim na natin to para wala na sila ikuan. That's what we call the law of attraction. Okay? So let's attract the law. Let's attract the RMT. Na may buntot na tayong RMT. Okay, so yun. Okay, marami na nakapag-comment ng RMT ako 2020. Okay, so enjoy your meal ha, enjoy your meal. So babalik tayo mamaya mga 12:30. Okay, para dili mo magdali-dali og kinaon sa inyong mga ginakaon. O Ian, unsa man imong sudan karon Ian, baka pwede ka mag-share sa amo ha? Ipakita sa para maglaway-laway na karon.
Wala pa may sudan, sir.
Wala pa mamalit pa magwala na sila. Food delivery, food panda. Okay, so the same link hapon natong gamiton class, the same link ng gihapon class ha. Pwede niyo pagdalan niyo ang inyong kuan or kamo na bahala. Okay, so thank you so much. See you later on class. Enjoy your meal. Bye-bye. everyone. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Kamusta na kayo dyan? Vanessa De Viejo, paki-turn ang camera mo. Kamusta ka dyan? Kamusta ang birthday celebration natin dyan? Sino ba ang friend ni Chu dito ngayon? Sino ba ang friend ni Chu? Gades, friend ba kayo ni Chu Gades?
Sir?
Friend ba kayo ni Chu? Friend ba kayo?
Yes, sir. Bakit, sir?
Oo. Kitis naman siya na i-greet niya si Vanessa. Hindi pa daw niya gini-greet, no? Sabi ni Vanessa, hindi pa daw siya nag-greet ni Chu. Okay
Ay,
lang ba? I-chat mo si Chu na, Chu, birthday ni Vanessa ngayon, pakigreet naman.
legit, sir. I-chat yun, sir.
Oo, eh. Wala problem niya ba? Ano siya? Wala daw siya gitsa ni Chu. Ano siya? So, kahit yun na lang ang ating gift sa kanya. Di ba, Lenny, no? Lenny? Kahit yun na lang ang gift natin sa kanya. Yun.
Sir?
Lenny, dugay naman dahil ka nga vlogger, no? Dugay na gina ka nga vlogger sa unang pa high school days.
Sir, mga ano lang man to, sir, karang ginapa-require.
Ah. Ay, si Isha Nova, Sir Francis and Romar. Ayan, ana si Equana City. Sa man ni siya, karibal ni siya, karibal ni Juan? Karibal ba ni siya ni Vanessa? Or friend lang yun? Yan. Sa inyong kakabal naman siya, report siya, karibal na Juan. Yung mga
Na-chat na,
reporters
sir.
Na-chat na daw, oh. Vanessa, na-chat na ha, na-chat na. Kanya, asa pa ng reply? Wala pa yung reply?
Wala pa, sir. Busy pa siguro.
Sinapot yung klase. Kunya, so, pero kabalo na si Kuan, kabalo na si, o sa ni, si, Chu nga, gusto si Vanessa sa iya. Hala, si Crystal, oh. Wala na siya, i-hate ka na ni Baning. Kunya, anak dayon si Crystal, nang babae gadikit kay Romar, ginapatumba mo ya, di Baning, hala, kadlo, yan eh. Tara, i-send mo na lang yung presentation ninyo dito sa group chat. Okay, para ako na lang magkuan, lang ang mag-usan ni tawag mag next or pwede po kamo lang. Sige daw, try nyo daw. Hoy, nasi ko ano. Oy, dili sir, oy, ginaingnan gani na ako si Romar na gina-feature siya sa klase nato tungod kay Vanessa. Thank you ha. Oh, Vanessa. Tawa Vanessa ha, bangan ka ni Isha Nova. Bangan ka niya Vanessa. Sana yung iba, sige daw, mag-kuan sa tabi, mag-break sa takadali, asa man diri ang pilihan sa nato ang ginsa ang mag-entertain sa atong mga classmates. Okay? Asa naman, nandito na ang ating wheel of names. Okay? Yun, Iway, pasok ka dito, Iway. Pasok ka dito sa ating live stream, Iway. I think yung iba wala pa kasi 25 pa lang ang nakapag-kamanata. Aha. Ano si Zyril, oh. Time na siguro na ikit na sa GCA siya, ha. Friend baya min ibaning. Hala ka Asia. Nawa Asia Nova o ikik na daw kaniya sa kuan. Hala, naabaya ko gi-send video greetings from Romar sa imo ni Francis. Pwede ba nimo i-share sa ato Francis? Pwede ba nimo i-share Francis Ian? I-share po diri sa amo Ian please. First time nag-istorya si Zyrene, oh. Tanawa. Okay, ana si Isha Nova. Innocent ako, president. Ha ha ha. Innocent pa siya. Sa kihanan, nagsalita na talaga si Bossy Zyrene. Oo. Karon lang gina ko na nakita si Zyrene nag-comment. Okay, Rilio. Rilio, marinig mo ako, Rilio. Miss Johanna Rilio. Marinig mo ba, Rilio? Nandito na si Rilio. Hinihintay na lang natin si EY. Yan. Yan. Nandito na si Ann EY. Yan. Okay. So, Ann EY, kamusta ka dyan? Kamusta?
Hello, sir.
Hello, kamusta ka dyan? Nadayan si Crystal. Pagwapo sa background ni EY, oh. Nice kayong background niya. Murag naagid ta sa kuan ba? Mo nang pinaka-best nga background. Kanang naagid ta sa kanang peaceful
Naugalo sa mong
environment.
balay sa...
Ha?
Na ako sa gawig na sa sulod.
Amazing imong background ba kay peaceful environment jud. Yan, sige, entertain mo muna yung mga classmates natin.
Wait lang, sir.
Ano pa si Crystal Lay? Amit President si Zyril Paita, sir. Hoyop si Ma'am Chua. Oh, hala, sana all. Ngayon ko lang alam na si Zyril pala ay isang alamat na presidente. Sana all, nasa vacation daw, sabi ni Kihana Rojero. Bakasyon dahil nagbakasyon karon EY.
Na ako sa balay, sir. Uy, nasa gawa sa balay.
Asa dapat inyo ha? Asa dapat inyo ha? Murag lami lagi na
Na ako sa balay.
karon. Wow, kalami sa inyong
Sa
balay, oh.
Malandag, sir. Malungon.
Daghan dara og mga kano, daghan dara mga tanom.
Daghan, sir.
Okay, sir, ayan. May video ko. Yan, sana yung video na sinasabi mo, Ian. Share mo yung Romer 2. Sige, start na tayo, EY. Start na tayo.
Sige na.
So, what did the scientist say when he saw two atoms of helium?
I-type mo daw, i-type mo daw.
Ulitin ko, what did the scientist say when he saw two atoms of...
Anong sagot, class? Anong sagot? Wala gyud ko ka-gets ngano naghihihi. Unsa na isa hihihi, be maghihi na lang po ko. Para magsunod silang tanan. O na lagi naghihihi na po naghuhuhu. Unsa hihi the answer. Okay. Now I know. Okay. Abi na ako, nagsunod-sunod lang po sila hihi. Si Camille po na siya, huhuhu. Oh, huhuhu daw. Oh, sabi ni Camille. Sabi ni huhuhu. Si Ira kay he, HW. Yan. Okay. Mauday ni siya ang answer. Hihihi, helium. Okay, sige. Sabi na ako, nagsunod-sunod lang ng uban ba kay hihi, magsulat na po hihi. Oh, may nag-commentary, hihi na lang po. Hihi na lang po. Ano mo gahihihi? Kasi ano mo gahihihi? Hihi na lang po. Anyway, sige na oy. Go, go, go. Okay, sige class. Asan ang reporters? Ready na ang reporters? Thank you kayo an iway ha, nalingaw jud ko an iway. Hello reporters, Johan. Ay, asan ang mga reporters? Hello, Gubat, Humbe, and Elio.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, okay. Saan yung PowerPoint presentation ninyo, Miss Humbe?
Na-send po sa GC, sir. Pwede
Ay,
ka
nasend
mag-screen
na, sorry.
share.
Okay, sige.
Sige
Lingaw,
po.
wala ako nakaget sa question. Anya, bakit anak ang hihihi? Ako nga naghihihi man sila mo na itong answer. Okay. Naigod ang internet kay even my thank you so much an EY ha, nalingaw yun an EY, promise. Naa naman dahil diri din densitometry. Okay, yan. Okay. You're welcome, sir. Thank you so much. Okay, so let's start. Class, ready na tayong lahat. Class, no? I think kaunti pa lang tayo. Nasaan ang iba, class? Paki-message sa ating group chat. Napasok na sila kasi magsta-start na. Nasa 23 lang yung nakapag-reply. Okay? Pakisulat naman, class, densitometry. Hashtag densitometry. Yan.
Sir, Sir, lag si Jang. Sir.
I think ready na, no? Nasa 1, 2, 4, 6.
Sir,
Yes.
parang lag si Jang, sir.
Sino?
Si Jang, si Gubat, sir.
Sige daw, hello? Reporters? Reply naman, hello, hi. Sige, reporters, saan na kayo, reporters?
Sir?
Yes,
Yan,
sir.
oh. Hello?
Sir,
Okay, yan. Sino ang una mag-report sa inyo?
si Gubat po, sir.
Okay, Gubat. Hello? Tara?
Salita na daw po siya, pero hindi po siya marinig.
Ay, okay. Ano, bakit kaya? Ano kayang problem ni Zara Gubat? Saan ba si Zara? Taga Jensen din ba siya? Baka mahina ang internet nila. Sige, any representative lang from your group, Johanna? Or
Yes,
Donna?
sir.
Sige, sige. Saluin mo na lang muna si Zara Gubat, no? Baka mahina talaga yung internet nila. Let's understand them na lang, okay? Sir, gasalita ako. Na siya, pilit daw sa Zoom.
Tignan lang ko ninyo kung mag-start na.
Ayan, kisa to istorya si Vanessa.
Marky!
Taga Barbilan. Asa na ba yung Barbilan Crystal?
Barrio Blaan, sir.
Okay. Vanessa, pero okay lang ako ang reception na sa imo. Okay lang ba?
Di ka makitan, sir. Kung makita lang kay PPT.
What I mean, ang akong istorya ba? Akong istorya, okay lang?
Ay, okay ra.
Okay. Wala siya ginapangot.
Pero usahay, sir, maghina. Yan na.
Internet na. Kaya pa si Zara ba? Sir, kanina pa po ako nagsalita. Bakit po ganito? Ka sa speaker ni mo or something. Tumawag ninyo, no? Sige daw, mag-comment daw, class. Baka may problem tayo. Sige daw, hashtag marinig. Okay? Hashtag marinig or hashtag hindi marinig. Magsulat na lang. Okay, hindi marinig si Jam. Pero ako, marinig niyo ako? Marinig niyo ako?
Marinig, sir.
Okay. I think kuan lang yun, no, si Zara, feel ako ang iyang kuan. Sir, okay lang sa YouTube stream. Okay lang daw, pero sa stream. Kila, okay lang, Zara. Don't worry. Ayaw ka mag-worry dyan. Meron ka mang sila na lang magsalo sa imo, ha? Si Jolina, sir, may ibang marinig ko. Sila ka Vanessa? Wala ni mang marinig ko sa Vanessa. Oh. Alam ba si Jolina, naagayaw-yawhi. sige reporter, sige na. Hayaan na lang natin muna si Kwan. Hayaan mo na lang natin si Zara kasi I think sa kanilang connection yan. Sige, Johanna and Donna. It's your turn. It's your turn. Hello. Sir, sabi lagi kayo. Mura mag-online rambutan. Ha, wala na ako nag-gets, Crystal. Sir, sabi lagi kaayo murag mag-online rambutan. Hindi na ako mag-gets.
Sir, saba daw, sir.
Ay. Saba, ay, lagi kayo murag. Hello, reporters. Nasaan ang reporters? Nawala na po lagi sila. Hello, Donna May. Sino pa yung mga reporters natin? Ombe and Rilio, I think nandito kayo. Kayo na lang muna. Huwag kayong
Yes,
matakot.
sir.
Sige, sige.
Mag-start na kayo, Day.
Unsa man, reporters? Hello?
Sige na, sir. Ako na lang, sir, magsalo kay Ana.
Sige, sige.
Zara.
Don't you worry, kung may hindi kayo ma-explain ng maigi, ginatabangan man tamo.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
So, good afternoon, everyone. Our topic is all about the densitometry. So, densitometry is a quantitative measurement of optical density or the measure of absorbance and electrophoretic pattern. So, after the electrophoresis, a stain gel is passed through the optical system of a densitometer to create an electrophorogram, a visual diagram or graph of the separated bands. So, next is densitometer. A densitometer is a special spectrophotometer that measures light that is transmitted through a solid sample such as a clear or transparent but stained gel. A densitometer is a special gel using the optical density measurements. The densitometer represents the bands as peaks. These peaks compose the graph or electrophorogram and are printed on a recorder chart or computer display. Absorbance and or fluorescence can be measured with densitometry.
So next is the example of densitometer scan of serum protein electrophoresis. So the order of protein fractions from left to right is the albumin, alpha 2, and the beta and gamma. The next, sir. So the second is the principle. It measures and quantifies thin layer chromatogram or the TLC. When light hits the surface of the TLC or the HPTLC plate, it can be absorbed, reflected, and scattered. It depicts the separate bands from a serum sample of electrophoresis. Next. So, types of densitometry. We have the scanning the video densitometry. For the scanning densitometry, it is referred to a beam of light of selectable dimension and wavelength is moved across the plate, following the individual tracks and indirect of chromatography. We have two types of measurement. First, the transmission measurement. measurement limited applicability because irregularities of the layers significantly affect the result. Tapos white color lang ang ma-detect niya. For the fluorescent measurement naman, it can be applied substances that are excited by the UV light. For the video densitometry, we have Pabalik ulit. For the video densitometry, it is, sir, pwede pa X ng comment. For the video densitometry, it is usually performed usually performed on electronic images of the visual chromatogram. So for the advantage of video densitometry refer to simplicity and speed. For the disadvantages, it is the absence of spectral selectivity. Only substances accessible for the technique. Next. So, for the figure, it illustrates the principal design of instruments. Scheme of the light pass of the thin layer chromatography or the TLC scanner. First, we have the lamp selector, entrance slit, lens, monochromator, entry slit, monochromator grating to mirror, and slit selector. So we have three samples of lamps. First, the deuterium lamp covering the UV region of the spectral range, mercury major lamp providing a spectrum of several lines of high intensity, and for the last is tungsten lamp producing white light are available to cover the UV and visible range of spectrum. Then, kita nyo, after na mapas yung lens system, the emitted light reaches the monochromator, a holographic grating for selection of the scanning wavelength 20 nanometer bandwidth. Through a revolving disc with fixed apertures, the appropriate slit dimension is chosen. Yung beam splitter dyan, nag-direct siya sa light beam to a reference photomultiplier reducing fluctuations and effects of lamp agent. So yung ibang beam slitter nag-reach siya doon sa baba na sa measuring PM or the plate for measurement. So next. Next po. Hello? So, for the Beers Law. Marinig ako, sir?
Marinig ka namin.
Sige pa. For the Beers law, the concentration of the unknown substance is directly proportional to the absorbed light and inversely proportional to the amount of transmitted light. Kasi yung density is proportional to the protein concentration because pag higher ang light niya, greater the light, mas madali ang pag-absorb. So, next.
So next is the interference in scanning densitometry. So transmission measurements are of limited applicability because irregularities of the layers significantly affect the results and only white light can be used. Then the transmission measurements are of limited applicability because irregularities of the layers significantly affect the results. For scanning in reflectance mode, the spectral range is from 190 to 800 nanometers that can be utilized. and most frequently, the absorbance of a substance is measured. Although the response of the photomultiplier is linear to the amount of received light, the dependence of the signal on the amount of substance is essentially nonlinear. So, this phenomenon is caused by the fact that the sample is located not only on the surface of the stationary phase but also in the deep layers, and these layers do not contribute to the signal to the same degree. So next is the interference in video densitometry. So the interference is the absence of spectral selectivity, only the substance that can be visualized or accessible for the technique. Then the signal is displayed as a function of position, thus generating an analog curve of the chromatogram. Then the advantage naman of video densitometry are its simplicity, diba, and speed. Then ang pinaka-disadvantage niya is it is compared to the scanning densitometry, it is the absence of spectral selectivity. Next is its uses. The uses of densitometry is to detect the different protein levels, to measure the absorbance of stain, and to scan the electrophoretic patterns. So na po. The standards that is used in densitometry or same lang sila sa thin layer chromatography is may dalawang may dalawang reagents na ginamit, which is yung DNPH and hexane dion, or the several methods for the quantitative analysis of peroxidation or products by the thin layer chromatography or the densitometry were compared using the aldehyde specific derivatizing reagent, which is yung DNPH and the CHD. So that's all for densitometry topic.
Okay, so thank you so much. Thank you so much, densitometry group. Okay, so sayang hindi nakapasa si Gobat, pero it's okay. Okay lang yan siya, class. Okay lang yan kasi naintindihan ko rin yung iba dahil sa ating mga internet connections. Okay? So, next natin na presenter. Okay, pipili na naman tayo, class. No? Pipili na naman tayo ng mag-present ng kanilang report. Yun. Refractometry. Okay, refractometry. Lenny May, what time ganit tayo matapos ngayon, Lenny May?
1:45, sir.
Okay, sige.
Sir, tapos na mi, sir.
Sorry, tapos na pala to. Tapos na pala ito. Sorry. Delete sa nako ha. Remove ko muna to. Girl, mandaay. Electrochemistry. Ay, human na, sorry. Wait lang, wala man na remove sila. Yon, automation. Yan, automation na.
Sir, kami po.
Sila si Tita, Mahilo. Sorry ha, wala man gud na-remove sa atong Wheel of Fortune. Dapat i-remove. Yan. Okay, sige, wait lang ha. Yan, Ira, at least ang importante, Ira, dili mo lags pag nag-stream, okay? Sige lang, that's the reason why nung nga kanyang gigamit para dili kayo siya sige. Ay, brown out daw sa kanila, Aya. Ah, okay. Sige lang. Makaapas pa siya. Lenny? Hello,
Sir?
Lenny? Mga pila ganin naka-slides ang inyo ha? Mga pila ganin ka-slides?
25, sir.
25. I think mag-click na ni mo meron ba, no?
Feel ko rin, sir, kay may explanation pa sa amin.
Sige, ganito na lang, class. Ganito na lang. Okay, so next meeting na lang natin ipagpatuloy ang reporting nila, Lenny, no? Para isahan na lang, mahuman na natin next meeting. Then we can proceed
Sige,
for our
sir.
next topic. Kasi yung iba dito, sila Ian, Aya, hindi, wala daw sila brown out. Okay, brown out daw ang kanilang lugar. Okay. So, ganito pala, class. Please, gawa kayo yung mga natapos na good nag-report. Yung mga natapos na mag-report. Hello, excuse me. Rinig mo ba, niyo ba ako? Okay. Hashtag marinig kasi yung iba, I think, kulang na ba? Okay? Sige. I-announcement class sa mga natapos na nag-report, please gumawa kayo ng inyong questions and then i-send ninyo sa aking messenger. Kasi class, next meeting, we will have a quiz first bago tayo mag-start ng ating reporting. Okay? Sige. Alam nyo naman no, kung ano yung format ng inyong pag-submit sa akin. Dapat nakalagay siya sa notepad. Okay? Dapat nakalagay siya sa notepad. Sige. So, may question pa ba doon sa questions na gagawin? Sige daw, baka may mga questions. Lenny, nasabtan ninyo tong question, Lenny? Katong pagbuhat sa questions, dapat ibutang sa notepad.
Yes, sir.
Multiple choice ha, multiple choice. Each group must prepare 5 items of questions sa ilang reporting. Yun. So, dapat multiple choice lang. So, review muna kayo ha. And then, meron pala akong i-send sa inyong Moodle account. Mayroon akong i-send yung activity 2 and 3 class, no? Actually, it's all about glasswares. Nakalimot magud ko og inform sa inyo last meeting. It's all about glasswares. Murag review lang na siya and instrumentation about spectrophotometer. Okay? So, class, basahin nyo lang yon yung notes na yon. And then, mayroong question portion doon, yun lang, sagutan lang ninyo yon, okay? So, ang deadline noon, next meeting pa, okay? Next meeting. Okay, so after this class, i-send ko na doon sa inyong Moodle account, yung activity 2 and 3. Okay? Hello, Miss Isha Nova. Ikaw pala ang karibal ni Kuan. Ikaw pala ang karibal ni Ningning.
Sir, oy.
Asa naman si Miss? Makita ng ilahang yan. Okay.
Sir, ayaw. Ikaw, ha? Oy.
Vanessa, ay mong karibal, Vanessa, oh.
Gani, sir. I-PM lang na ko siya niya.
Vanessa, nakita na ba mo personally ni Kumar?
So, sir?
Nakita na ba sila ni Romar, Asia Nova?
Ay, delete na. Oy, first one, minute na sir sa una pa.
Ha?
Ano na ako si Romar sa una pa.
Ay, kailan na mo siya sa una? Ay, classmate mo high school?
Oo, sir.
Vanessa, magpalakas yun ka dapat kay Asia Nova, ha? Kay classmate kay sila. Hindi mo away-awayon ni sa Asia Nova. So, yes, dito na lang. Wait, sir, what time next meeting ipasa? Ay, dili. Ang katong mga nagtapos na og report, katong ang mag-send lang sa sako ang katunahuman na og report, ha? Okay, ang katunahuman na og report kay next meeting magpisa ta bago ta mag-start og reporting, okay? Okay. So Miss Asia Nova, paki-lead na lang sa atong prayer. Okay, ikaw na lang muna ang mag-lead ng prayer kasi next time na lang natin i-continue rin yung reporting kasi I think hindi talaga makasya ang time. Okay? Sige.
Hala sir, wala ka nang dugog. Ako ang prayer.
Sige, balik.
Balik. Let us put ourselves in the presence of the Lord, in the name of the Father, the Son, the Holy Spirit. Amen. Glory be to the Father, and to the Son, and to the Holy Spirit, as it was in the beginning, is now, and ever shall be, world without end. Amen. Mana, sir.
Okay, thank you so much. Okay, so wala nang question ka sa reporter natin, isulat naman dyan. RMT ako, 2020. Yan. 2022 rather. Sige. Thank you so much and see you next meeting, ha?
Thank you, sir.
Yan. Happy birthday, ha? Happy birthday, Vanessa. Pakigwas po sa imong nawong Vanessa para makita na mo ka, no? Vanessa. Vanessa, please turn on your camera and mic. Thank you for learning class. Thanks. Oo, tama, Jud. Dapat mag-wish Jud ka, Vanessa, para makita ni Romar. Dapat i-send mo ang link sa itong video. Vanessa, i-send ang link sa video para makita ni Juan, para makita ni Romar. Oh. Paunsa bi kung siya akong wish. Wow! Oh, Vanessa, Juan, Asia Nova, paunsa kung siya akong wish. Charot. Ayaw lang, sir. Ano man, mahadlok ka, Vanessa. You're welcome, Ira. You're welcome. Sa uulitin. Ba si hayhan lahi raha ipa-GNT Express na lang namo si Roman ipa-GNT Express na daw niya Vanessa. Unya ana din si Vanessa. Dalawa na gyud taligsan og 4x4 ni Romar, sir. Bahala gyud ka dira. Di makuligsan ni Romar, di kuligsan ni Romar. Uy, hala. Naaday diri Sir Ses, mega shout out to you, Sir Ses. Ako bahala ni Muning. Tanawa ha, from other section, classmate na gini sila. Sir Ses, nadunggan nimo Sir Ses ha. Please, Sir Ses, ipalakas ni amo ang estudyante nga si Vanessa kay dugay na gyud ni ginahangdom si Romar 2. Yun, ano din si ko, no? Ano din si Sir Ses? Tanawa? Yan, ako bahala nimo. Tawa lagi, sir. Ala, sir. Anak ko. Nagkauyab dayon. Uyab dayon si Vanessa. Sir Ses, daw uyab si Vanessa, Sir Ses? Yak daw. Kinsa man na Vanessa ang imuhang uyab? Sige Charot, Char. Ginakilig po dahil siya, Sir Ses. Ginakilig sa Vanessa. Ginakilig si Vanessa, Sir Ses. Grabe. Tanawa, Sure si Chelsea. Sure na naakay uyab ning? Sure na baka nga naakay uyab ning? Yan. Ana po si Sir Ses na miss na po ra baka ni Romar ning. Romar, pwede ba ka makasulod diri sa StreamYard nato, Romar, para maistorya ni mo si Baningning? LDR daw sila kay lahing section si Romar. Anak yun na siya mahitabo sa Asia Nova. Pero na-heard na si Asian, si Vanessa kay wala gid daw siya gigreet. Wala gigreet. Wala, Chelsea, kinsa rin ang kaistorya na rin kaistorya si Kuan? Naday ka chika na si Vanessa kay sa Telegram, kinsa na mo na siya. Sir, naka-move on ako kay Chuoy. Halag yun sa ka ni Chu nga na-move on man ka gilet go na kaniya. Sir says dito siya musulod, sir, kay maulaw siya kay Baning. Wala kay klase, Sir says, wala kay klase. Tamsak naman dyan, ha? Tamsak, bago kayo umalis. Pagkalimutan, tamsakan mo na ang ating video. Bye! Pagkalimtik, tamsak na Vanessa, ha? Bahala ka dira Vanessa, di ka tusok diri sa ato ang channel, di ka kadungog sa ato ang lecture. Wala man ko nagasudlog sa imo Vanessa. Imo mga classmate lang gid sa lang tika.